afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda, Hero of Reich, Defender of the Fatherland. We're off here to a 1 versus 1 on Holotny Farmer Winter again. Yes, indeed, it seems to have said a bit of an over-representation again, which does seem to happen sometimes, you know. All of a sudden, one map suddenly gets played a lot and has some decent matches on it. Anyways, on the right-hand side, we got Ihitto fighting here for the United States of America, for the glory of Uncle Sam, and for the 1st Armored Division going up here versus Cruzz, fighting for Deutschland, for Germany, for the Reich, and for the 2nd Panzer Division, mobilized to counterattack the 1st Armored Division and throw it back from the borders of Germany. We got a dual pioneer side here from Cruzz, thus opting initially to sort of grab more territory rather than sort of try to fight his opponent, which is normally not a bad idea versus the Americans, at least I personally find. We got reassurance here, we got 2 rifle squads there. Noting, by the way, in terms of commanders, we got airborne, recon support, rifle company here. For Cruzz, it's Festung Armor, Spearhead on Storm Doctrine, a slightly more regular sort of suite of commanders. The Spearhead is seeing some usage. Bulletin-wise, we've got the LMG supplies here. Not one of the ones I'd prefer, but I suppose it has some utility. It's infantry, a bit of armor. For Cruzz, it's infantry, machine guns, and Panzergrenadiere. Heading straight here for the Central Munitions, wiring off the truck, which also happens to be the only piece of cover that sort of covers up that point here. Very, very common to see that thing wired off. I suppose also might be a reason why Cruzz went for 2 pioneers, so he could sort of hit in several directions, but at least sort of ensure he could rush for that one, but also not necessarily lose territory. Also, we got meanwhile Ihitto is rushing both viewpoints here, rifles securing the northern one, while the rear echelons securing the southern one. 3 rifles there, we got plenty of grenadiers as well for Cruzz so far, 3 grenadiers, more cover being wired off. You know, Dieter, I don't think they're going to make that tank drive again. Yeah, but you know, they could hide behind it. I suppose you're right. And there we go. Oh, actually, only 2 grenadiers. For some reason, I've written one of those pioneer icons brief for some reason. My brain has grenadiers, but only 2 grenadiers and 2 pioneers. First engagement down here. We got the rear echelons opening up there, and the pioneers volley fire as the pioneers moving the Schmeissers, the MT-40s up close, trying to gun down those rear echelons, and they instead get suppressed very quickly there as they're out in the open. And there we go, pinned. In fact, bit of a setback right there for Cruzz initially. Bit of a setback right there. Also, might be a bit of a longer match, and there might be no mid-game analysis. Can't fully remember. And just got right from there, attacking them up for him, might engage the grenadiers here. Though, of course, there's still cover they can use the other way around. I mean, I suppose he could have wired all the way around it, but that might have looked just a bit silly. Pioneers up north engaged. We're actually getting a sniper out here for Cruzz. This is definitely a very unusual sort of Wehrmacht opening. 2 pioneers, 2 grenadiers, and a sniper. Not your sort of common start for the Germans. That's not necessarily to say it's bad, but it's definitely not what you usually see at all. In the meanwhile, Ihitto here going for full riflemen. Full riflemen, so very heavy infantry here versus light on infantry from Cruzz. On the other hand, I imagine Cruzz might be taking up rapidly after that. A part he would have to. Whereas for Ihitto, of course, there's a slightly more sort of, you know, he could go different directions here. Dealing with Cruzz. Going to see him from north, catching the rifle here, getting into cover. They're pulling into cover, actually. In this case, they're not quite fully getting there. There we go. You've got some munitions getting off a few shots of the carbines. The gun is actually falling back to the building as well. Cruzz, in this case, actually falling back here, realizing there's not a good engagement. We have pioneers walking into the entire mess, realizing they rather took a wrong turn there and getting the Scheiße out of there. But there you go, German sniper on the way, tagging up for Cruzz. So again, very rapid tagging. No sign of anything there from Ihitto. Oh, never mind. We've seen 80 drop in fuel there, so it's actually going for the captain. Going for the captain here. Maybe sensing his opponent might rush for sort of a quick scout, feeling his own M20 or an AA half-take might be quite worth it. He's instead opting for something bigger with bazookas, and could also get to light tanks, pack houses, and anti-tank guns. So, also with that amount of infantry, it's not uncommon to see an American player then switch over towards the captain instead, and all that follows with the company command post. So, nothing too unusual out there from Ihitto. Snipers there, though, getting off a few shots there. Actually killing a Yankee this time around. Ambulance following up here for Ihitto. Forces shifting north. Well, riflemen are falling back here, in fact, for reinforcement healing, but at the same time not full retreat in there. So at the same time, though, Cruzz taking advantage of this. Then again, he might have been baiting Cruzz to move forwards either way, though. Going straight for the cut-off point there, denying the southern fuel. Also a bit of harassment here, denying the other fuel point there. Although at the same time, I mean, there's a definite disadvantage there to Cruzz, who's actually been cut off from his own fuel and will actually haven't had any real fuel points for on the entire match so far. Sniper they continue to try to drain away at the Americans, gaining a few kills here and there from safe position. Also known, he's basically keeping a rifleman squad here all the time, basically to ensure that Cruzz can't just make a run for it and basically sort of to bog him down, which in particular considering Cruzz's current unit composition is not necessarily a bad idea. Also we got some Panzer Grenadier on the way. He's also got plenty of munitions. I mean, he could be going for Panzer Grenadiers with Panzer, which is less common, but I suppose would sort of deal with any lighter vehicles reasonably well. Of course, versus the infantry will leave him a little less prepared. I mean, the scout car is generally the better option there. And we actually got a Telemine here, quickly mining down the road. Maybe he's planning something else, but either way, Telemine's here. In case something decides to take a sharp turn, it gets blown to bits if it's a lighter kind of vehicle. Finally getting a few pod here, Grenadiers down south, though they are a bit on their own. Panzer Grenadiere bereit für Deutschland. And the 2nd Panzer Division, having fought in Normandy, pulled back for rebuilding and then thrown back into the fight there by the time of the Ardennes. And there we go, Ihitto is launching a massive assault here towards the south, rather than moving in a larger force. Pioneers force, where the guns down here going to deal with the captain. Might stand a better chance, already a bit low on health. There we go, the captain getting off some good shots there with the rifles and his own Thompson. Sniper though sending up to maybe get a few more shots. And there you go, Raketen Panzerbüchse up here for the Panzer Grenadiers. Cruzz opting for that very much. Some rockets. And Ihitto has gone for recon support. Opening up here for forward observers, pathfinders, and of course the Greyhound, which is one of the primary reasons most people tend to go for recon support. Get the Greyhounds. Again, another push of the cut-off point. Cruzz being very aggressive, very active in harassment. Good. Though still being denied very much fuel. Getting an MG42 there now. Maybe secure territory a bit better. Interesting enough, he's made no attempt to sort of secure this area. Very interesting enough, he's largely sort of ignored here, except maybe a bit of harassment. Probably because he saw that, but overall he's still not, say, tried to push in for it and finish it off. It's a bit interesting there to note. And there we go, Ihitto did research it. I mean, with the LMG supplies, it becomes basically 15 manpower and 2 fuel cheaper. So, again, it's not perhaps the best bulletin. I mean, it has some uses, I suppose, but it's not, say, a grand bulletin. I'd overall suggest more, you know, either fuel cache or munitions cache bulletin, or, for example, one for the grenades, which is also available from the campaign. By the way, this one is unlockable by playing the campaign. Bit of there, it's a reward one. Using the captain's bazookas to wreck the barbed wire. You know, Captain, I can't help but feel this is a bit of a waste of American munitions. Son, everything is a waste of American munitions. Everything. But we still do it because it's the American way. Meanwhile, I've got rear troops there being pushed away. We've got light machine guns up for the Grenadier. And they're going before 2 support, holding back here Ihitto's assault. Bit of a delayed MD42 in this case seems to catch Ihitto over a bit of guard there. No snipers nearby, the support might be here to get him down there to try and bleed out. Ihitto's assault pioneers being up there. Rifle getting suppressed, grenades in the cannon. Quick rifle grenade, there's all units in heavy cover. Oh! There we go, nice rifle grenade, leaving some of the riflemen either dead or heavily wounded. Captain moving up as well as rockets fly across, not really impacting upon anyone and shattering their lives. Northern point here being secured. Cruzz still very much contained here by Ihitto at the moment. Pack hounds on the way. No attempt here to still check. And then again with the Panzers here forming an anti-tank position. I mean, it might be less of a valuable idea to rush the Stuart in there. But Cruzz is very much centered around trying to keep that munitions point at the very least. This, of course, is also the nice Ihitto resource sort of gain more. Then again, he's holding a lot of the other maps, so it sort of makes up for that to a certain extent. Ihitto then taking up further here. Go for the battalion command post. He's got plenty of munitions, but so far we're not to see a single BAR secured there. Then again, he might do so now. And there we go. Dual BARs on those riflemen. So 3 BARs so far available there for Ihitto's forces. Definitely increasing his firepower here versus Cruzz, who's beginning to take back territory again. Going for the cut-off point there. Very often, very common to see, particularly this cut-off point being constantly harassed by the enemy. So pretty standard there. Looks like he's fallen back from the north as well. But there you go, counterattack going in. Here we go. Lots of BRs. The guns are getting absolutely shredded. Vast amount of firepower here Grenadier needs to retreat. Zurückfahren, Leute! MD42 they're opening up from somewhere, stopping up the southern part here. Grenadier squad almost wiped out. Sniper falling back, not wanting to get caught in all of those shots. Panzers in the church, got Pioneers moving forwards. We have some moving forwards. A chaotic assault here through the blizzard, taking advantage of it, by the way, to get close here, making it harder for Cruzz to actually make use of his units and the long range to sort of slow down any advance here. So nicely done. And we got a Greyhound adding in here for Ihitto. The M8 Greyhound, MD42 freezing its arse off. Panzer gun is being pushed away. Northern fuel point being secured. There we go. Oh, he didn't get the southern fuel point. Looks like he's taking up there. No further sign there of doctrine, though. Got a second MD42 there running for Cruzz. Victory points reasonably equal here.
The territory is out of contact.
Cruzz rebuilding, counter-attacking. Holding the territory up here. Grenadiers hiding with the light machine gun inside the farm building. Ready to guard any attacking Americans. But so for a light force here from Ihitto, though heavily armed. Oh, Pioneers taking a hit there. Bursting the flamethrower tank open. Ooh, could catch the guns. No, we got Pantrax opening up there. Oh, no, they actually retreat. They actually retreated. And a counter round there on the MD42, completely annihilating Cruzz's MD42 team. Guns, they're pushed away by the rifle here with the BARs. I imagine those might be the dual BARs. And there we go, because they're going to squad wiped out for Cruzz as well. Oh, makes it, thanks to the blizzard, though, the Americans can't quite see as far. So damn close there, but there's an MD42 there which could fall into the hands of Ihitto. Meanwhile down south, goes here versus the captain. Captain falls away. No, looks like Cruzz here might capture the MD42, ensuring it doesn't fall into the hands of the Americans. Meanwhile, Pioneers making good progress up north, although they are currently in the process of freezing to death. Support armor core, though, should soon be up here for Cruzz. At least he should try to aim for it, I think. See now he's got a fuel point, though he might consider adding in a fuel catch to sort of make up for all the lost fuel. Ihitto largely pulling back here. No signs of finding armor. He's a bit lacking in fuel there. Cruzz being able to effectively harass the fuel several times over, that way delaying things a bit further. Blizzard lifting. Cruzz's defenses strong again. Less able to be overrun here by Ihitto. And we got the M8 here trying to hunt down some Pioneers. Further Brownings, by the way, could be added here to Ihitto's forces. I mean, he's got plenty of Brownings there, so should very much be an option there. I mean, no reason not to get more Brownings. Of course, he might save munitions for the Greyhound's canister shots. Central munitions point here, the only munitions point on Holotny Fair Winter being neutral, but looks like Cruzz is going to take that back. And there you go, counter shot, closely managed to get away there from the Greyhounds. Rather volatile shooting. Support armor there for Cruzz. Still no doctrine though. I mean, considering his current force composition, I mean, storm doctrine with ambush, camouflage, maybe some tactical movement or how it could work out. Could also go spearhead with some other bits there. I suppose you could go festering now. I mean, they do have some options there. We got the entire assault here pinned down, but the problem is the Greyhound supporting. Hitting the Telemine, knocked out. Still, though, I mean, there were basically too many, and the MD42 itself was also low on health while out in negative cover, giving the rifle even while suppressing, particularly with Browning on some actual chance they're wiping out. Incendiary outfitting rounds, though. Tear through a few riflemen. It looks like the MD42 this time around was actually wrecked there, though. In return, the M8 was also wrecked. A neat little victory there for Cruzz, who, by the looks of things, is going for a Panzer IV. I mean, he could try for Ostman right now to sort of directly attack and harass. No, he actually cancelled that howitzer and went for it again now. But a Panzer IV could very well be a good option. So an Austrian could also then again there's the Sherman on the way. Of course, Cruzz doesn't know that. I mean, a Panzer IV from our perspective, of course, is going to be the wiser choice. But again, going for the car point again, trying to delay fuel, and thus armor any further upgrades for Ihitto. Dual BARs on these gentlemen as well. So up to now 2 riflemen scores here with dual BARs. As ever, a potent combination, as they possess quite a bit of firepower on the move even. compared to the light machine guns, which while stationary they don't quite do as much as the LMP-42 on the other hand. On the move they do possess a bit more punch, or at least they can provide a punch. Sniper though, veterancy too, having claimed 17 Americans there for Deutschland. So on the field point there being harassed as well, though he's actually in a bit of a nasty position here. A net is tightening. Christ. What happens when you're trying to say too much too fast? But the Panzer IV likely on the way. We got the Sherman there arriving. Looks like he abandoned the field point actually. And runs straight into the Sherman here with a high explosive round as well. 50 caliber on the way. We do get a Panzer IV there going off. By the way, this is the airborne company from the campaign skin. For those curious, can begin by winning well the campaign with the airborne company in use. Little fun fact. And they're rushing straight through the riflemen with Browning automatics. Cruzz here rather feel like might have overplayed his hand over the Grenadiers, and the result was death. Pack out to Johnny England, he caught out in the open, got lost with the riflemen again. Browning automatics. Heavy firepower there, late down best of the Grenadiers do not possess a light machine gun. Forced to wait, Panzer IV though finally on the way. Should be able to help with Ihitto's rather relentless advance. There we go, Panzerkampfwagen 4. Achtung! Panzer bereit! Panzer was hiding in the church, but they were either going to get cut off from the rest, and they go out in the open, best high close around to act in pat position. He's trying to hit the Sherman there, but at the same time, he very much risks losing the unit. Got the Panzer IV charging in. A bit risky as well, as he can risk getting hit with anti-tank grenades on the rear. And of course, there's a bazooka as well, but he does have the luck here of the arm-piercing rounds only being there on the Sherman. He does pick those arm-piercing rounds. There you go, Panzer IV caught in a rather vicious volume of fire, though he did not get the Panzer IV either. Then again, he might get the Panzer IV out of there, he might. And I suppose he's forced up the Sherman for a bit. Popping smoke there, and we finally got a doctoral choice there for Cruzz. He has gone for Festung armor. Festung armor. He's already got access to hold down, command tanks, the Pak 43. The only thing lacking here is the railway artillery support. North, though, is staunchly German for the time being. Central munitions support, no, made American. Got an anti-tank gun there to now deal with the German armoured efforts. Pack Howitzer firing straight into the side of the building, leaving the Grenadiers feeling not too well, with a bit of ringing for their ears. A bit more infantry for Cruzz could be an idea. Then again, a Pak 43 could also be an idea actually, to help deal and keep the American armour at bay. Or I suppose you could try putting down the Panzer IV hold down somewhere. I mean, that could have an effort. Otherwise, a command tank would be a good move, but overall diminish the amount of damage that Ihitto could do to, well, the troops in the sector, and of course help punish the infantry a bit more, in particular considering how much infantry Ihitto does have. He's got 4 squads, captain, major, rear echelons, he's got field guns, machine guns. I actually managed to steal one of Cruzz's machine guns there. Oh dear. So overall, something to sort of punish Ihitto's infantry, sort of turn things around, but it'd be a good move behind the sniper. I mean, the sniper's good, but he's more for a prolonged kind of fighting, sort of slow attrition. He can't really, sort of, quickly tear out large chunks of the American forces, that way tilting the fight in favour of Cruzz. It's more of a prolonged fight where he can sort of give an advantage, which Ihitto's forces are not really sort of geared up. They're sort of more rapid strikes. Oh, that was close there. You almost lost that anti-tank field crew there. Veterans 1 for the Panzer IV. Sniper getting off a few kills there. Very close to Veteran 3. More telemines there. Good job. Interesting enough, we see here Ihitto, by the way, is not bothered at all with minesweepers. Could be something where Cruzz could catch him on. Panzer is in a bad position. Vorsicht. Zurückfallen, Leute. While the sniper here getting off some good shots versus the advancing American horde. They're ultimately forced to fall back here as rockets and all other sorts of nasties fly in his general direction. Ihitto making a good move there to sort of protect the northern points, realising that Cruzz is mostly centred around the centre, well, sort of the flanks open, he strikes towards there as well, trying to destroy away forces. Ihitto's got plenty of fuel. He could consider Sherman, he could consider Jackson, or he could consider Scott, sort of depending on what sort of wants to sort of really hammer in there against Cruzz.
Standing by.
I imagine Cruzz might be aiming for another Panzer IV.
Enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Though again, a Pack 43 and then a command tank could be a nice combination here with the regular Panzer IV. And we've got some Pathfinders here, opening up for beacons and artillery barrages. Panzer IV effectsbereit once more. Captain moving ahead. Oh, caught here. Actually very close to being hit there by the teller mine, in which case it goes off. Then again, Cruzz realizes it, doesn't want it to happen. Shoots where's the Raven instead. He's still rather relying on simply the Panzer Grenadiers and the Panzer IV for dealing with any enemy armor. And so far, I mean, the amount of armor that Ihitto has could sort of make it work. Second Panzer IV there on the way, though. Interestingly, Cruzz has not bothered at all with a single Pack 40. He's very much relying on those Panzer Grenadiers. Now the Panzer IV. They've got an anti-tank opening up there. We got Veterans who won. He should very much consider then using Take Aim. Again, it's an absolutely brilliant ability. But a lot of American players tend not to use it, which I do feel is a bit of a shame. MG team cleared out again. We might see the Panzer Grenadiers wiped out. Heavy losses right there to Cruzz. His Panzer IV, they're still saying we've got artillery going down there on the position here. Though the MG is rather still there. Cruzz needs to replace some of his losses, getting more Grenadiers, not bothering with Panzer Grenadiers. Though I can understand that in particular versus rifles with Browning automatics, the Panzer Grenadiers very quickly found themselves falling short. Which is a bit of a mess. Rifleman pushed off.
The new Grenadier squad is ready.
MD4 to recruit. There we go. Veteran defeat by the way. 31 kills there for Cruzz's Scharfschütze. Bit of forces moving up there. Panzer IV closing in on Veteran 2, in which case Cruzz will definitely enjoy a strong advantage there, though. Pardon me, would still like to see a Pack 43 to sort of help deal with the armour, in particular considering how little artillery Ihitto has. A Pack 43 could actually be reasonably potent.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Sherman rolling through the darkness. Sherman there coming on in front of the Panzer IV, the Panzer IV moving in. Shots fired. No quite success there. And there you go, Reitman rather clumped up there in front of the Panzer IVs. Pinterman missing this already, and there we go, anti-tank and firing. Armor piercing now, still no target, but he's actually crashing them with the Panzer IV. Charging through and waiting for a sea of Americans. With that Panzer IV causing heavy casualties there to Cruzz's, or I mean, Ihitto's infantry. Anti-tank and by the way got wiped down. There we go, Veterans 2 for the Panzer IVs. Still no take aim by the way, they on it. I definitely think that was one mistake that Ihitto made. But right here, Cruzz was able to turn things around. He got a Reitman squad there, amongst other engagements. BARs for drop the sword, which is definitely something Cruzz could benefit from as well. So that was engagement that went reasonably well. In particular, if we were to steal that anti-tank, and he had something there versus Ihitto's armor on top of things. So the question is, of course, what will Ihitto get next? He's got plenty of fuel now, so Jackson could help versus the Panzer IVs. Artillery from the Scott could also be a way of sort of dealing with things. And of course for Cruzz again, you know, he should begin with maybe considering there might be a Jackson on, in which case a Pack 43 would very much be a good option for locking that down.
The weather is lifting. Stand by for confirmation.
Interesting enough, he did not grab that BAR, though he might get a rifle off there versus the MD42, which is actually awfully clumped up. No, he did not fire. It looks like it was... Oh, no, now he's going for it. And there you go, Watney's having, in fact, dual BARs right. They got the MD42 and got double Brownings there. That might... Oh, but on the other hand, he lost another Grenadier squad, it seems like. The losses are piling up there for Cruzz a bit. He might be overextending his Grenadiers a bit too much, but anyways, it's time for the mid-game analysis. Current situation here is looking a bit unpleasant for Cruzz. He's suffering staggering losses at this point. He is doing some damage back, though. The Panzer IVs are definitely adding in. some backbone there to his forces, allowing him some strength to hold back, but also deliver some crushing defeats there to Ihitto. Though at the same time, Ihitto's force is still overall the one with more go for it, though he has begun sort of bleeding out in the infantry department. Getting more Browning automatics in that regard would be a good move for Ihitto, and he should definitely consider getting a Jackson out, sort of dealing with the armor. In particular, actually 2 Panzer IV will definitely require a Jackson for sort of being properly dealt with. The Sherman, in its current state, will struggle with a Panzer IV like that. So that's very much something that Ihitto should consider looking into. Recruiting that anti-tank gun would also be a good move on top of everything else. So that's really sort of how I view it as a moment. For Cruzz, a Pack 43 should be a good move to sort of support everything else. I mean, he's gone for festering armor, might as well make use of it. A command tank could also be a good move, would certainly help versus the infantry that Ihitto possesses as well. He needs to sort of, again, join up his lines a bit more, needs to be a bit careful about splitting up his grenadiers too much, as there's like tendency towards that now, which he needs to be careful around. He needs to secure the northern victory points, definitely. I think he might want to sort of consider shifting it towards a, what you will, sort of northern quadrant, like this. Hold it right like that. I think that would leave Cruzz much stronger, allowing him to hold both victory points and a few point here, allowing him to focus his defense again, in particular with the Pack 43. Actually, if he set it up here, he could create a very nice kill zone for any armor, making it very difficult for Ihitto to use his armor, though I suppose right here could also be a bit hit by artillery, so it's a bit tricky to say like that, but I think it would work out nicely though. And definitely something I think Cruzz should consider. Another option for Cruzz could be to simply tech up, begin aiming for a Panther or a Sturmpanzer, that way sort of delivering a crushing blow either to the armor of Ihitto or infantry, supported by the Panzer IVs basically. I mean, that could work out reasonably well for Cruzz right there. We should be a bit careful about just sort of relying fully on the Panzer IVs, particularly if the Jackson arrives. That could cause some problems. Rather mildly put. He's either player should also consider recruiting these 2 weapons again and then back in use versus the other bastard. But back to the fight here. Going to see trying to get away there with the pilfered Brownings. Might get away, might get away. Looks like it. There we go. The Panzer IV draws the fire with its armoured presence. Fun fact about the Panzer IV, it was with the armoured skirts on actually occasionally confused with a Tiger tank by less experienced enemy infantry. So little fun fact there, due to its rather more armoured and bulkish frame. So now moving forward, Cruzz might want to be careful with that. Then again, a quick incendiary shot here, I think versus the Pack Howter crew could actually do quite well.
Our lines of supply are disrupted.
Quick losing ground up north. Got a Jackson on the way very well. Job there by Ihitto. Some more light machine guns for Cruzz's infantry would also be a good addition on everything. Of course, same for Ihitto. Another thing Ihitto could consider maybe now, he's getting a Jackson after that, is actually getting an airdrop combat group, adding some more elite infantry and additional anti-tank, and I think it could also give Cruzz a bit of a problem, further stack things against him in terms of infantry. Again, Ihitto should very much consider investing more into the infantry. Few more kills there. Jackson almost done. Cruzz doing an excellent job, by the way, maintaining his Panzer force, kicking 2 Pioneer squads around for that. Splendid. Rather than taking shots, grenadiers need to fall back before the church collapses on them, and the MD-42 needs to consider setting up. Sniper almost dead. Chase it. Well, there you go. Jackson opening up. Panzer IV taking heavy damage. The other Panzer IV needs to cover for it. Could consider public smoke. Jackson opens up again. Closing in on Veterans 1 already, thanks to the higher Veterans here and the Panzer IV Veterans 2, of course. The Jackson does gain more out of it. Third Panzer way there for Cruzz. But with the Jackson out in the field, I mean, a Pack 43 is definitely going to be a good investment, I feel. Either that, he should consider maybe sort of setting up a force for rushing it. Pioneers there being hunted down by the Sherman. Those Sherman run straight into the Panzer IV here. Closing in on Veteran Fleet, by the way. Almost there, almost there. And it is counter-attacking to throw back the American armor somehow. Seems to be working though. The question is for how long until the Sherman will tear them apart. Ihitto gaining back plenty of territory. But there you go, 3 Panzer IVs now out here for Cruzz. A small Panzer platoon, or Panzerzug. Looking very lovely there. Grenadier assault there, rather failed due to the presence of the Sherman. We got another Panzer moving ahead, but again, without any sort of serious threat there to the Jackson, it's a bit of a dangerous work there. I mean, at the very least, they're going to need all 3 Panzer IVs to basically rush it with sheer numbers and take it out that way. And use the Panzer IV's blitzkrieg ability to basically get behind it while the others sort of draw fire, maybe. I mean, that could have a chance of working there with blitzkrieg, but that's about it, really. 40 kills on the German sniper. He's definitely earned him an Iron Cross first class. Third Panzer IV almost ready again. It looks like he's counter-attacking north for the time being. Not a bad idea with the American centered around. He's trying to avoid it, try to take the fight elsewhere. Get some kills in maybe there, and maybe try to draw the Americans into a position where he can catch them a bit off guard rather than charging into their own lines of fire. So good job there by Cruzz. Instead of bashing his head into a wall, he's trying to find another path. Encountering though the captain hiding in the building there, but instead we find several good shots. They're collapsing the entire side of the building and leaving the captain acting in a pretty bad position. There we go, in fact. Captain wiped out. Heroic defense rather quickly undermined by the fact they were in a wooden building. Looks like, oh, a BAR dropped again. I feel that was the Grenadiers that dropped that one, giving Ihitto a chance of gaining back some of his weapons. But there goes Sherman, straight to the Panzer IVs, almost veterancy free here. If he can get shot off, get it, he can never mind. Close but no to cover, we got the Jackson there joining in. Almost veterans 1 opening up there for the armor-piercing rounds. There you go, veterans 1 for another Panzer IV. Which will definitely allow it to pretty much ignore the armor on the Veteran 2 Panzer IV. Oops. Not sure what's going on here. There we go. Nope.
Armor ready.
MG42 used to secure northern territories there. Second Sherman joining in here for Ihitto. We got a fighting position to cover up the centre as well. Bit rare to see a fighting position this late into the game, but that's not necessarily mean it's a bad choice. Yes, well, rarely seen. Cruzz hastily repairing his pants as he wants to quickly get into that fight again and strike down his opponents. And if we get that Panzer IV to Veteran 3, he's definitely going to have a potent tool. But now, actually, got here, Ihitto splitting up his tanks. He's actually leaving the Jackson open.
We're losing a capture point.
That's actually an opportunity here for Cruzz to knock it out if he's aware of this. Though he probably should be once he realises the Sherman's attacking up north. He might get an idea the Jackson's a sense. There we go, he knows it's there now, he's shooting at his men. So right now, Cruzz should very much be focused on rushing it. Get both Panzers here to blitz and knock it out. I mean, that's really his best chance of getting it. Instead, he's pulling back. He's probably smoked, but he's pulling back. Giving the Jackson his advantage by allowing it to stay at range. No, we got the Panzer IV moving in. Both Panzer IVs. No! The Sherman's counterattack, drawing the attention of the Panzer IV to save the other one, but also allowing again the Jackson to take off more shots. Closing in Veteran 2, there's Sherman Veteran 3. The last Panzer IV Veteran 3.
We just lost a medium tank.
Sherman needs to get away. Veteran 2 there. Not sure why he hasn't prioritised vehicles on the Jackson though. Main gun destroyed. Somehow that thing still... No, there we go. Veteran 2 Panzer IV kaput. But Panzer IV moving in there to knock out the Sherman. And there you go. Veteran 2 armor-piercing rounds. Panzer IV misses that close. He needs to blitz now. He's still standing in front of it. Cruzz, pop smoke and get out of there. Too slow there. The shot actually bounced off the Jackson. Is that possible? Oh, well, either way, the Panzer IV went down here to the Jackson. It knocked out a Veteran 3 Panzer Ace. A terrible loss right there for Cruzz, who's down to 1 Panzer IV. He should have rushed it with all of his tanks when he had the chance. And I think this more than anything displays the power here of the Jackson. In particular, with armor-piercing rounds, there's
Points remaining.
very few tanks that can sort of really survive it, in particular up close. Do not underestimate the power of a veteran Jackson. And I imagine now, Cruzz is really regretting not having a Pack 43 up to support, or having tagged up for Panthers or something. Rifle grenade there. Oh. Wipes Ihitto's rifleman squad there entirely. Small victory there. Small though. Still no attempt at further lap machine gun. In fact, Cruzz's infantry is looking in a terrible state there. He's only got one squad and he's got some pioneers left. Otherwise, Ihitto's force is still larger. Getting more Shermans to replace the ones lost. This MG42 by the way has not been recruited by anyone. What a shame there.
Crew ready. Tank support is here. Sherman ready.
Halfway there to veteran to 3. If that happens, that's definitely bad news for Cruzz. Well, it's generally not exactly good news for Cruzz at the moment, so it's hard to say, you know, it's bad news any further. I suppose worse news might apply. There we go, another shot on the Panzer IV. Almost wrecked there, pop smoke. Niven. There we go. Quick Panther-fast attempt there on the Jackson. Pack 40 on the way finally there for Cruzz. I mean, you'd imagine he'd gone for that sooner. That probably would have helped as well.
Tank ready.
Jackson in some rapid need repairs.
Ready for orders.
Panzer IV close to Vector 2 as well.
Pioneers ready for anything.
But territory is definitely not going Cruzz's way at the moment. Getting more grenadiers. Still no light machine guns for those chaps.
Enemy has broken our supply lines.
I mean, whatever edge he can get versus the infantry, he
Our
needs it.
opponents are seizing a sector.
And the more he can drain our hit for that would be good.
Send your orders.
Oh dear, if that thing hits Veteran 3, I mean, that Panzer IV, even Veteran 2 won't stand much chance even without the armor-piercing round popped on the Jackson. So he'll simply able to fire so fast plus have better penetration. It'll be an absolute killer.
Panzer IV.
Shake it out. We're moving. And bring that damn Brownie.
Panzer here.
Area secure. They are at 200 points.
Quick one from there we go. Panzer IV takes a hit there from the Jackson.
An infantry unit.
Veteran 2 though, Pack 40 joining in. Ihitto needs to be careful there. Beware of the Panzer up that Kanone. Another Sherman there. Ihitto wants on building up an armoured force. He's clearly holding most of the map there.
Panzer IV is ready for battle.
An additional Panzer IV joining in, the forces of Cruzz.
Pack here. Grenadiers. That's everyone. Grenadiers ready.
Crew ready. Pathfinders reporting in.
More Pathfinders there for Ihitto. Intriguing.
Panzer IV. Enemies firing up. Panzer IV ready.
Ah! Half the grenade squad already lost there.
Armor ready.
Tank 40 moving up, needs to quickly set up and shoot.
Under attack.
There you go, Sherman coming on fire there. Second Pack 40 there, that could definitely cause some problems to the armour since it'll only take 2 volleys then under optimal conditions to knock out a Sherman, and the Jackson could actually go down even faster than that, so we can use the Pack 40 there, the dual combo, to quickly catch the tanks off guard. It could work out. On the other hand, if they get caught off guard, they'll quickly be wrecked, in which case Cruzz will have lost a lot of valuable equipment in a very short amount of time.
Blizzard conditions.
And there you go, Veterans you free. And armor-piercing rounds. I think versus the Panzer IVs, that's what you call overkill. At least when it's on a Jackson. And it's Veterans you free. dear, he might be making a mistake there. He's moving ahead. But there we go, shot off on the Panther 4. Pack 40's joining in there. Almost got the Panther 4. And there we go. Pack Howitzer wrecked the gun on the Panther 4. We got artillery going in the Pack 40, forcing Cruzz to pull it back. Cruzz is making back some progress. Artillery there, almost shattering the Panzerabwehr Kanone, but it survives. The other Panther 4 needs to get away before the Jackson moves in for a killing blow. Rifleman charging in here, spotting out for tank destroyers and the likes. But the Pack 40 setting up here. Panther 4 out of control. But there we go, Pack 40 got the Jackson. Vengeance for all the tank crews it put to the grave. Crucial situation, not good. Getting Panzer Grenadiers again finally. Pack 40 is moving ahead with absolutely no infantry screener whatsoever, leaving them very open to an infantry assault. Plus, of course, the Pack Howitzer could also do some nasty things to them. Victory points down to 77 here for Cruzz as well, 300 for Ihitto. Plenty of more Brownings would be a good move there for Ihitto as well, though. Cruzz getting increasingly desperate, securing points again. He's still not trying for, say, a command tank or a Pack Howitzer to sort of bolster his defences in any way, for some reason. Which overall again makes it a bit of an odd choice that he went for festering armor when he could have just gone for spearhead, which might have offered something he might have used more than just, you know, well, Panzer Tactician. And oh dear, the MD-42 caught there out in the open by a large amount of American infantry Sherman joining in, and there we go, taught.
We have lost an MG team.
Panther 4 being rolled in despite not being fully repaired here. That's saying that more than anything that Cruzz is getting desperate. Damaged engine, caught from 2 Shermans. If they can hit, will penetrate the frontal armor there with the Panther 4. Almost down, one more shot, one more shot. Popping smoke. Of course, he can just attack ground. There we got Pack 40 supporting, and there we go. Panther 4 down, Cruzz down to just his infantry. The Pack 40s, which are very much open here to an infantry assault. And again, Cruzz goes to the cut-off point, goes to the other points. There he goes, secures to the MD-42 that Ihitto never bothered with. Third Sherman on the way there.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Additional Panzer Grenadiers for Cruzz. He has the resources for a Stuke right now, but looks like he might not bother with that either. Attempt at mining there is ruined by the Rifleman. Run straight into the Panzer Grenadiers. Have a chance there versus this Rifleman on the other hand, artillery and the Shermans. Or the Pack 40 doing the best to deal with them. Oh, got one Sherman they cooked up. Just more victory there for Cruzz. Got one of those accursed American Panzers.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Still got 2 Shermans, he still have the armor advantage. Infantry-wise, Ihitto is looking less strong. They still got the BAR, so can he easily get more. He's actually getting in the ground, though. Panzer was counter-attacking north to take the 2 points there. Cruzz getting ever lower. Got the Greyhound moving south. They could try and deal with the MD-42 there, slowing down his rifleman's advance. Or not. Gonna get a close victory with the pack cards. We got an assault here. Encountering problems, though nothing major. Oh, well, technically it is a major, but it's nothing major. MG42 went down there. Pack 40 trying their best, but at the same time the flank is very much open. A quick assault from the Greyhound up behind them could wipe them out, in particular combined with a cancer shot. Oh, those Germans actually pulled far away. The Ihitto might be getting a bit skittish. Just a bit. Victory points very much the advantage of Ihitto. 25 points left there. Getting ever lower. You still got the Pack 40s though. Surprised Ihitto is not upgrading any of his new rifle or units there with Browning automatics. He really would benefit from it. And there you go, he's bringing down the Pack 40s to secure the southern victory. Points Germans moving in fact could rush. There we go. Flank exposed. Flank exposed. Germans should quickly move in. Laying down the smoke screen actually in front of them. He could actually rush them right there. Almost knocked them out. Come on, get behind them, get behind them. You still got the smoke. No! Too slow there. Not sure what he was thinking. Bundle grenade there. Almost wipes out the entire infantry unit, but they're still surviving and they can rush. There we go. Reassurance with Pathfinders. Clearing out the Pack 40s there with M1 carbines. Quickly gunning down the gunners. Leaving Cruzz's, well, remaining infantry utterly exposed to the tanks. And there we go. Victory points basically nowhere. Panzer was wiped out here by another counter shot, and there we go. The fight is over. The 2nd Panzer Division has been broken here by the 1st Armoured. A brutal battle in the blizzards. A victory for Ihitto. It was a bit close at times there, but ultimately Cruzz's strategy had a few larger flaws within it. In part, he went festering armour, but he never really made use of the doctrine besides Panzer tactician. Overall, well, denying him a few strengths there, which could otherwise have been good. Also, tactical mistake there when the Jackson was separated from everything else. He could have rushed it with the Panzer Force, but instead he rather hung about a range, which rather gave the Jackson the advantage to then tried to send out his lone Panzer IV there. It was a bit bad luck there on Cruzz, but you know, again, he should have rushed it. That would definitely left luck out of the equation there and allowed him to basically wipe it out. So that, I think, was definitely a mistake there by Mr. Cruzz, which overall gave the advantage to Ihitto, allowing him to basically wipe out the entire armoured contingent of Cruzz, leaving Cruzz then afterwards very exposed. He could also benefit a bit more from light machine guns on his grenadiers. A mortar, I think, would also be good. Or he could have basically, you know, just not fully rely on Panzer IVs. Consider taking up and getting a Panther. I think that could also have had a good benefit there from Cruzz, and certainly fuel cache might also have helped in that regard. If Ihitto, he overall made pretty good use of his doctrine. An air group, combat group would have also been a nice thing, but there you go. I'm a bit surprised, you know, considering he went for the BA upgrade. He didn't use it as much as possible. I think that could also have benefited Ihitto, though, had he done that a bit more. But overall, a pretty interesting fight there from two good players. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, want to subscribe, tell your friends, share it with everyone. If not, you know, send it a replay and provide some feedback in the comment section. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers, and thank you all for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye.